Hello and welcome to Devstream number 30, where we are joined by a cast of new devs to talk about enemies of the Tenno today. So we're talking about AI, enemies coming, bosses, everything you're shooting, slicing, using your powers against in the game we all love of Warframe. So before we introduce these new mysterious characters on the couch who are eagerly sitting and awaiting, we are going to do a little bit of housekeeping. The first order of business is that the PS4 build is in cert. We certed it Tuesday night and we are awaiting response, so stay tuned. And of course there will be a 24-hour alert after the Devstream is over, so stay tuned for that. And lastly, we'll be doing 3 platinum prizes. So every, odd moment when we want to give away some platinum, we'll do it. But now for the stars of the stream. The enemy and boss team is what we've labeled you guys, but you're really much more than that because you do kind of everything, but we're talking about enemies and bosses. Yeah. So I guess from red to white, we will introduce who you are and what you do here on Warframe.
Okay, sure. Yeah, my name is Tom, and I'm a designer. I do a lot of AI and boss design.
Thank you for joining us.
My name is Daniel. I'm the lead AI programmer on Warframe. I've touched everything from all the movement systems, animation systems, AI directors, AI, everything. So
you touch it all.
He's a man, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name's Paul. I'm a programmer, and I'm pretty much Daniel's little helper these days.
Yeah.
What do I do?
It's my minion.
Yep.
And a familiar face who's been here before.
Yeah, I think like a year ago.
A year ago, probably.
Yeah, I'm Scott. Do animation. I've been doing quite a bit of the animation for the bosses and that kind of thing. So
Vahek, your child.
Yeah.
Cool. Are you Vahek? Is this suddenly going to be a? I don't want to make any enemies here.
I think of Scott more as a corpus, though. I don't know.
Yeah. Are you more?
I do see him more as a corpus, yeah.
Oh.
Not infested.
Close second.
Slightly.
Well.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. We have tons of questions in chat. We have tons to show you guys. Brought a ton of cool, fun things for everyone. Because basically, I know you guys read the forums and you see where everything's going, and the direction of the community's comments now have kind of been AI and enemies and what are we actually fighting. So that's what we're talking about today, and I feel like we might as well get started with a little bit of a bang. And one of our first questions is from Isoon135, who says, what's the progress on the new J3 Golem?
J3.
J3.
Okay, yeah, I can take this one. It's moving along nicely. We have a design that we've been kind of prototyping a little bit.
Right.
And it's pretty cool. It's working. And a lot of different components. There's a lot of new little things. And we're going to show, I think, some of them today.
Yes, please.
And yeah, right now it's the characters are in concepting. Some of them are being modeled. They're going to be rigged soon. So right now I'm kind of prototyping a lot of the behaviors and attacks.
Right.
And then once the character gets rigged, then Scott will start on some of the animations, and Daniel and Paul will start on the behaviors. And we'll kind of just keep iterating on the fight until we get something awesome.
That's kind of the way it goes. You design it, animate it, and then he starts doing his Tenno destructive behaviors. Now, with the J3 Golem, he was just a larger infested that threw stuff at you, and I guess the real thing is that what you guys have kind of been doing is reworking all the bosses. So he's next, quote unquote, or?
Yep.
Yeah, from what I understand. Yeah. When we first launched, we just had these big souped-up enemies that were just a normal guy, just bumped up with extra health and armor and a special ability or two.
Yep.
And those were the quote-unquote bosses that we had at the time. And now we've had the time to actually go back and spend more design power on them, more art time on them, and actually create their own unique characters that
and I mean, we've done so many already. I guess they're just going to keep coming and coming. So we have the J3 Golem, and what's his? We've kind of sneak peeked concept art of him for our design council, but I understand that we have the concept to share here as well and some other things. So I don't know if you want to run through those right now.
Sure.
Yeah, let's see him.
Dean, what are you gonna? Switching it over. Yeah. So Dean is the master of the.
Yeah. So I think we have a few, almost like progress images of the golem here. We can start with the first sketch that I think the community has already seen this one.
Yes.
So this was like kind of the first sketch that Mickey did based off of the design, and of course this is kind of working off of the infested ship that's going to be revealed pretty soon.
Right.
And so this was the first one, and then it kind of went on to the next version, which is a bit more the final concept that we're going to show you here. And this kind of gives an idea of how a boss evolves from the initial sketch from Mickey to this, and it's crazy.
It's insane.
I can't wait to see Scott animate this. It's going to be a lot of fun. So this is kind of the final concept.
Yeah.
So he went from being like a ship takeover to now what I am seeing there is total and utter infested
It
chaos.
can get more
he's very, very technocyte there, isn't he?
Yeah. And I think we even have some renders of the final model that Dennis is working on right now.
Oh my god.
Well, that's something that's related to the fight. We can talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about it all. Let's just.
But there's another J3 in there somewhere. Nope.
No, it's a model.
J3 Golem something or other should be.
J3 Golem Final Devourer.
No.
All right, well, let's talk about the Devourer then.
Okay.
All right, we're on an asset hunt right now.
So the big thing is that like it's taking part of the ship and has infested it. So the actual infested golem is partially Corpus ship and partially just like infested weirdness.
Is it HD Mesh?
Yeah, that's the one.
Right. So his boss fight, and you said soon, and I know like when everyone's watching, I was like, when are we going to get to play this cool stuff? And every stream kind of either gives us like a 6-month window or like it's coming today, as Jeff has famously done once.
From today to 6 months from now, it's probably a pretty good window.
Okay, well,
it's going to be sooner than 6 months, but not entirely sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing is to get a sense of scale on
this.
How
Oh
big
my
this
god.
Is. A Tenno would be about 1/3 of the height, roughly, to give you a sense of how big it is.
Oh
I love the incorporation of all those like rigid corpus
Totally.
lines with the infested kind of organic stuff. It's just really, really cool.
Because a lot of our questions today were when are we getting more colossal bosses like Lephantis, and I can't attribute it to the name right now because it's out of order, but that is a question. When are we getting more colossal sized bosses? And
Absolutely. We'd love to make lots of big bosses.
Yes.
It's one of the things where like you want to make sure that bosses can have enough room to move around in the space and that kind of thing. Like they can't necessarily go down hallways and that kind of thing. So it involves like large arenas that we can have that are big enough to hold these colossal bosses. But
And we want it to be that epic moment. I mean, now that we've got the time to kind of go back and focus on each boss, we can make it that kind of special epic reward that you get for playing through and getting to the boss.
Right.
It's a spectacle.
Now, I know you guys are all like technical, here is the boss, here's what's coming together from all your things. Now, do you have any ideas or input or what you want to see in terms of his implementation once he's live? Is he going to go back on a planet? Is he going to be, or do you not really get to talk about those as much?
We don't get involved in that aspect too much. He is going to be back on a planet, I believe. But that's more the event guys who plan around where they're going to go and how you're going to get to them.
Right. I just saw a few questions in chat about how do we get to him, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I think that those specifics, I think they're still working out.
Right, okay. But so far, our ship of Corpus.
I'm super excited about this guy. He's going to be unique and different and huge, and he should be pretty badass.
Awesome. Well, that is great. We'll move on to our next question, which is we just concluded the Enemies of the Tenno design contest, which had each faction, Grineer, Corpus, Infested, polled, get submissions in, and then the results are there. So, as you know, the Juggernaut won for the Infested, who is the massive lumbering form with projectiles and stomps. For Grineer, we had the Manic Grineer, who is the stealthy melee class that can surprise you. And for Corpus, we had the Riot Moa, which is the heavy Moa, essentially, that has crowd control, stops you at the end of hallways.
Very cool.
Now, these are all in your hands, so let's talk about them one at a time, whatever you prefer.
I mean, it's great to see such a response from the community, from the design council coming forward and putting all those designs out there. It's also interesting because we come up with designs for new enemies on our own as well.
Right.
Some of them get further along through development than others, and it's always interesting to see kind of suggestions from the community that are very similar to designs that we've come up with, suggestions we've come up with.
I think one such example is the kind of Grineer Beastmaster. Is that something you're working on?
Can we talk about it?
Yes, you can. I don't care. Cat's out of the bag. No, well, I have the other guys here in spirit, but they can't stop us now.
So, well, I guess Paul's working on him a bit, so.
Yeah, he's almost ready. He's taking some couple interesting turns today, actually.
What's going on with him? What's his general concept of an enemy?
So he has his little pet Kubro buddy that he spawns in with. And then I think he's going to use some kind of glaive weapon now and try to steal your weapon away from you.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then use your rifle or your pistol against you. So, yeah, it should be pretty neat.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
Nice interesting challenge.
And you have to kill him and get your weapon back.
Right.
So
damn.
Kind of riffing on the capture target where you can give the weapon to the capture target, but the opposite.
Right.
So I mean, we've got the feral Kubros that are all over Earth, right? and now the Grineer have kind of subjugated some of them and trained them as guard dogs.
So they've kind of taken, like just like the Tenno's Kuro are coming soon, quote unquote, the Grineer have taken a similar approach.
So that's
bigger and meaner.
Bigger and meaner? No! That's awesome. All right, so I guess back to the ones that the community came up with, because that was one of the proposed ideas within the community. Juggernaut, Rightmoa, and Manic.
Yeah, these are all really cool enemies, and they kind of, it's funny because they all align with what we're trying to do with the enemies that we're kind of developing and experimenting with now. And that's create less of just guys that shoot at you. That stand there and shoot at you or take cover and shoot at you. We want more enemies that engage the players in interesting ways or interact with their fellow enemies or teammates in interesting ways too. So I think that like the Juggernaut's a great example of an enemy. He's immune in the front. He has some good ranged attacks. He's large. He's different. So he should really mix up the infested a lot.
Definitely.
And something Daniel and I were talking about the other day was it would be cool if some of these guys were not just your rank and file enemies, but they're a bit more special. They're a bit more rare, a bit bigger and tougher.
Yeah, kind of like a mini boss that we can throw out at a couple stages through the environment. You're not going to necessarily meet hordes of these guys.
No.
But you should encounter a couple of them during a mission, and they'll change up the fight in a significant way just to spice
That's actually exactly what Fabsby asks, which is, are there going to be future mini bosses, and will there be special bosses if you survive long enough in a defense mission or survival mission, i.e.
That's a great idea.
So I guess the answer there is yes.
You can answer that with a yes.
We would love to get more mini boss type enemies out there. It's just a matter of time to get them implemented and modeled up and art to get on board as well. So I guess we'll start, I think if we start off with these community ideas and kind of turn them into more mini boss style encounters that are more special than just the grunts that we have out there, I think that's a good place for them and a good start down that road.
Totally, Yeah, the Juggernaut's so big that we can't just put him everywhere. Right? Like he's going to be too large for a lot of spaces, so we'll have to figure out a way to make sure that he only spawns in rooms that can actually fit him. Right? And he's not going to chase you down tiny little
luckily
hallways.
Some of the infested, well, I mean, they can go everywhere now, right? Because the infested invasion infests, and you can get them everywhere. But there are, my understanding, I'm not quite sure yet, when these Corpus infested ships return, are they going to be a permanent location in the star chart? We don't really know yet.
I think they are.
Oh. All right.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
I don't know how much I can say.
You can say whatever you want. No one's here to stop you.
I was talking to Ben today, and he was saying that the infested Talos site is going to be on Iris, I think.
Oh, okay. All right, so it's going.
So that's where the Golem will be going.
Okay. Excellent, because that's where, because Forid was kind of the only, he was the boss there. Forid, he's the, big charger. Is he, is he going to be still roaming around the solar system taking over
he'll be coming back. Scott actually had a bunch of great ideas that he sent us last week.
What's going
I don't really want to let the cat out of the bag on those yet, but they're crazy. So I don't know how we're going to do it, but it's awesome. So we'll find a way.
Right. Not a charger anymore.
No.
Is he the
blank slate. So
Poor Forid. He's going to go back to the DNA pool and so on.
Exactly.
So another question we have from Absinian says, since the Orican Derelict have a boss, the Fantis, how about a boss for the Orican Towers? The Void, the pristine Void boss.
It's a good idea.
I'd love to. Yeah, absolutely. The more the better. I mean, honestly. Variety of enemies.
You want to do everything. It's just
exactly. What we usually do is we're kind of trying to work through all the existing bosses. So Forid, Ambulus, Tilregor, Keladethem. Who else do we have left?
Well, one of the questions is, what about poor Tilregor?
Tilregor, yeah. We have a design for him ready to go, and I think some concepts leaving show today.
Can we show that? Because Nightbeats is very curious about poor Tilregor, who's just a butcher.
Right
now that Melee 2.0 is here.
And so we're trying to work through the existing bosses, but then once in a while, Scott or Steve or the character guys say, hey, we have this new character, make him a boss.
Right.
And so then we'll make him a boss, we'll find a new spot to kind of throw him into the mix.
Right.
So we'll kind of be adding new bosses interspersed with all the existing ones.
Right, because Darvo was kind of a new character. He's not necessarily a boss, but you guys have to work with those characters as well.
Yep. So. Alad V was an example there too. So we're showing Til, right? Sure.
Tilregor.
And you had another question too, I think, about a boss using Melee 2.0.
Yes, this is the one.
Sort of what Til was kind of designed around to support Melee 2.0. So this is going to be a boss that's as ninja-like as we could make a Grineer. He's kind of going to be more just in your face Viking with he's going to use a sword and board, as you can see, but he also has, this is awesome, Minky came up with this, I think. He he has detachable forearms, so he can switch between 2 giant gauntlets or a sword and board, depending on his attack.
Like an image that Dean just scrolled by. Is there 2?
I think just the one in here.
I think there's
just the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But so he's really a melee-focused guy, and it's going to be up to the players to figure out how to get him into a state where they can damage him based on Melee 2.0 and using their skill with melee.
Yeah, we actually had a question that I think you just referenced, which is this: when are we can have a boss that we can kill with just melee? Which is from Philosopher, who says, what's the role of melee weapons now in boss fights?
Yeah.
So
this should hopefully give players a good melee boss to practice against.
Right. Now, do you, like when you're designing a boss, now that melee, the sword alone is an option, Vahek is quite tough to kill with just a melee weapon. In fact, it might be impossible.
Jumping attacks at the right time.
Would be a little bit tricky to kill.
Raptor, probably, because it's flying
around. A little tough. Lephantis might be a little tough.
Yeah, I think you could.
Possible.
Do you think that your bosses should cater to every possible option of playstyle, or is it the player's choice to be like, well, I'm about to fight a boss, so I probably shouldn't just go in? Like, what is your philosophy on what the player must do in order to even face this boss?
I think we don't try and go into every boss fight with the same exact philosophy. I think we try and let the design of the boss kind of speak to how it should be defeated and how it should work. We'll generally go in with one crazy idea and try and work against that. So Till, we went in saying, hey, let's make a boss that focuses on melee.
Right.
And but no, I think generally we kind of want to leave it open so a boss can be a number of different things. And if players have to work together and use certain powers or certain weapons to defeat a boss, I think that's cool because it mixes it up a little bit. So not every boss is going to feel the same way.
Right. You do have to change your arsenal to face your enemies.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I mean, we don't want the bosses just to be a bag of extra hit points and special attacks. So we do want them to be unique and have that spectacle, that epic moment, like
definitely. The spectacle is certainly there with these guys.
So we'll have a look. I mean, we also like having multiple ways to defeat a boss is kind of cool and interesting. But I think it is also interesting if you do have to tailor your loadout for a specific boss. Like if you know that a specific boss is invulnerable to, say, fire, for an example, then maybe you need to bring other elements, other mods that will counteract.
I mean, I think the prosecutors that we implemented had their weaknesses to that degree. So you've definitely explored doing that, and I just realized we haven't done platinum yet, so we're going to do that right now. So someone's getting 1,000 platinum. Who's it going to be? Exclamation mark winner, Nightbot. Who's it going to be? The winner is Angelito Cruz 51. Angelito Cruz 51. You won 1,000 platinum. Message our Twitch page with your in-game alias. Angelito Cruz 51. You've done it. You beat the platinum boss. You beat the platinum boss. Way to go. Awesome.
We missed the drum roll there, didn't we?
I know. They're trained. They're trained animals to do these things now. It's like a response to always start the drum beat when the word platinum is said. So the more you guys come on, the more the more familiar you'll get. Move on to our next question from SEO5239. Corrupted. Any plans on expanding this faction of misfits?
The Corrupted?
The Corrupted, which I guess are a second-hand faction because everything they have is a corrupted version of something else. But
I think so. Yeah,
it's got to be.
They're
absolutely.
Again, everything's a yes. It's just when.
I mean, the Corrupted are all. It's all infested in Corpus and Grenier that are cool and they make Corrupted. So these new AI that come in, we'll make Corrupted versions and add them to Corrupted as if it can enhance that gameplay.
You should do Corrupted prosecutors.
That would be pretty wicked.
Cool.
That'd be pretty awesome.
With Orthos Primes. Oh my god. Kill you. All right. Okay, here we go. So Morco asks, Corpus, why don't we have any different basic proxies other than MOAs and Ospreys for the Corpus proxy units? I suppose the Zanuka is one.
Zanuka sort of, crewman sort of.
Yeah, but I guess they're the Zanuka and the Hyenas are more boss or specific, more unique enemies, let's put it that way. I mean, we'd love to do more. We also want to do different types of mowers. So they're not just all like stock standard mowers, that they have different configurations, and so that they maybe use the same biped locomotion system, but they'll have different armaments and stuff on top and kind
totally
of plug and play.
Unit.
Like the Riot mower.
Yeah.
The Riot
perfect.
One of those. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I understand you have some early prototype work for these.
I do.
Is there anything you want to show? Do you want to do like your show and tell all in one fell swoop, or do you? I guess once you go
Whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Right, maybe we'll wait, but we do have special in Tom's sandbox live action things, which are pretty cool.
Very
so
rough.
We'll get to those later.
Sure.
But
Yep.
sorry, yes.
So I mean, I guess we will expand the basic set of robots that the Corpus have available to them. It's just a matter of time again. It's time is the worst enemy.
It is, and we simply don't have a way to kill time. So if we did, I'm sure we would.
We need a time killing button.
Time of death. I just saw a question go up in chat from I Am the Co, who says the J3 Golem, is that somehow related to suspicious shipments, and what's the fate of the Corpus within the suspicious shipments area? So this is something that happened on PC last week, which were, you know, there was a little video of, don't listen if you don't want spoilers, and Alad B happened to have some infested on his collar.
Oh, so he's been up to no good.
He's been up to no good. So what's going on with Corpus and Infested, I suppose? What's down the...
You know, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Damn.
I just end up programming all day. No one tells me anything.
It's like, wait a minute. That's fine. Do you have anything in terms of Corpus and infested enemies that are coming?
Infested, we have lots,
Yeah, there are new infested. I mean, there are some concepts that we could probably show as well. For the
there are some concepts.
New infested.
Dean, are you ready?
Yep.
Summon Dean.
Yeah.
What are we showing?
Dean, summoner of image.
I think there's the.
You could show the infested MOA. There's a lot of good progression showing the infested drone. Oh, that's a good one though. That's the MOA. So we're working on a couple new MOAs that I'll actually be able to show the prototypes of. Whoa. And these are MOAs that have been infesticide.
Which ties in with the Corpus being, infested kind of thing. So you've got your.
So you're that whole ship with. Is this
exactly?
Is this going to be part of the kind of J3 Golem atmosphere?
Absolutely, absolutely. So not only is it taken over part of the ship, it's taken over
the proxies as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Yeah.
What's next?
Drone?
Sure. Yeah, you can start with the drone sketch if you can find it in there. Yeah, this is a cool progression showing. This is an initial sketch for an infested drone, and of course, it's kind of based off of the regular Corpus Osprey. And then the next one is a concept, showing the kind of progression once the concept artists get their hands on it and kind of flesh out Mickey's ideas. So you can kind of see the Corpus on the left side of it a little bit, and then it gets more infested on the right. And I think we have now. This is the first mesh at a ZBrush.
Oh my god.
It just looks badass.
Wow, that's badass.
Oh my god.
The detail is insane in that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Do they do, like, in terms of the design, so now we see what they're going to look like, are they going to have the same function as the pre-infested drone, or are they going to do a whole bunch of different stuff?
Different stuff.
Anything in mind you can share?
More
I'll show it.
We can
I'll show it. I'll
You guys
even
came
tell
so
you.
prepared.
I'll show you.
Show, not tell.
Show, not tell.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I can't wait.
And that's just a quick, that's not a textured version. This is the ZBrush being painted, and I don't really understand all of it. Maybe Scott knows a bit more, I don't know. But being the animator character guy.
I don't.
I'll tell you.
This is like, I guess, vertex painting in ZBrush or something that kind of preps it for the final material texturing. So it's just a really cool progression showing it from initial sketch out to almost final. So this guy should be going into rigging really soon, if not already. Actually.
Damn. So these are coming. So in terms of the next wave of new enemies, we're looking at them right now.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
And they're going to have new behaviors that you're going to show us. Oh, there's just so much.
Oh yeah, they have new, and I submitted a few little animations of the new infested biped, and they're on the current Corpus meshes, so they're not on the actual infested mesh. But
you do have animations here.
Should we show the animations first?
Sure.
Yeah.
There's maybe a couple of the little bipeds.
Sure, let's speak to those.
Infested drone, infested.
Just throwing up, and I'll describe it.
Oh no, that's not the one.
Just throw it up.
There we go. So who's this little bugger?
So this is just a looping idle of the infested drone on the current drone's rig.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll use the same skeleton as the Corpus one, but it will have a different mesh on top of it, kind of thing.
So we're seeing a disgruntled and jiggling, disgustingly
moving infestedly kind of thing.
Was that your direction when you were saying? Make it move infestedly.
So I guess for the infested biped, he'll be shooting these blobs of infested goo. I don't really have a better description of them.
You don't need
the best one so far.
Speaks
That's
for
good
itself.
Yeah.
This one.
And I think this is trying to give them a bit of a different walk style.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. So
Terrifying.
Really creepy. Yeah.
when you see the concept drawing, the one leg looks kind of big and lumpy and
So
that
he
kind of
just-
thing. So I figured he'd
His
he'd
robo
move.
joints.
Exactly.
So he's got
Yeah.
that lump.
So
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What's this now?
and then they'll for their they'll be
What?
able to. Rather than
nails
just
that
walking
man.
around, they'll be able to kind of jump around the set rather than just moving around like that. Just to maybe try to make them a bit of a harder target and yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah.
So now for the AI team and the programming team to figure this out, so we have these infested biped MOAs that are going to be jumping around the levels and stuff. What chance do the Tenno have? Are
I think they're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, sorry guys. Well, because someone asked us explicitly, are you ever going to make an enemy that's unaffected by certain utility powers such as vortex or radial disarm? This is from Bloomers. So do you weigh those decisions at this level?
Yeah, we could. I mean, we do have some enemies that are immune to radial disarm already.
Right, infested, I guess.
Accidentally, too,
Yeah, it's more a case of kind of on a case-by-case basis. We have a look.
Sure.
We do. I mean, one of the challenges that we try with our AI is to make them work everywhere. Because we have to deal with all these different procedural levels, we can't really script up the whole mission like you would in a single-player game.
Where you have the
Where you have everything like predefined out. You know exactly what you're going to meet when and how you're going to meet it in the environments and so on. So we do have to try and make these AI enemies behave everywhere and be systemic everywhere, so that when you encounter them, you'll be able to defeat them using the same tools and tricks and skills that you've learned
Certainly.
throughout. So usually we try and make everyone kind of have their normal vulnerabilities to every special power that you have. And then sometimes we'll go through and say, hey, you know what, let's make this guy immune to that one particular thing to make him unique or something.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you do face a big challenge there with we have 19 unique frames now or something, that they all have different powers,
Yeah,
different
and it gets
weapons.
worse and worse every time.
Every time a frame is added, you're like, oh crap, this one. All right, well.
Yeah.
I guess that actually does factor into a very popular discussion in the forums right now from Notion, Phil, that I know you took a look at, and I think we were discussing it earlier, which is essentially we don't need smarter AI, we need dumber AI. And I think he pinpointed the example that the Shield Lancer is currently the only different enemy and the best enemy in the game in a way, because it has a different approach, a different challenge. You have to think, and enemies do die at the point of your gun quite quickly. They don't really ever stand a chance, so why don't we do more things that make these helpless foes different?
And that's one of the other big challenges that we face all the time, is just the amount of damage the players can deal.
Yes.
And his point in his post is pretty good. Everyone, I mean, we do skim the forums all the time. Like, I know there's a lot of posts like, make sure DE reads this, make sure someone reads this, the AI suck, blah blah blah.
We're here to make the game good, don't worry.
No, we definitely read forums.
We do read the forums, we just don't often get a chance to respond to everyone.
Yeah, because you're doing things like giant insane bossy overalls.
Or Kubra wall running and all sorts of other weird things. So, just snuck that one out there.
We saw zip lining last time, I think, which is...
Oh yeah. He can do that too. So every little feature that we add takes time, and often we end up kind of swamped with all these tasks, so we just don't get a chance to respond to everyone. But his point in his post was that the Tenno are so powerful that making smarter AI that have better formations and cover each other and have fallback to different positions in the level. His point was that that's a little bit of a waste of time, I guess. That they're going to be dead before they can even show off those behaviors. And it's a good point. It's a fair point.
It really is. We've seen that a lot in Warframe and in previous games. You get too complex with your AI, and they start to look more dumb because they spend so much time trying to figure out how to be smart.
Yeah.
Or get into smart positions.
That's the biggest paradox.
And then you kill them as they're trying to run to a cover, and you think, that was stupid. Why did he just shoot me?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And it literally is because the Tenno are, I mean, they're so fast, they're so mobile.
Yeah, I think we called them pseudo-deities in his post or something.
I think that's pretty good. Yeah, that's
something
pretty
like this. So
it's like you go into a room and everyone dives out of the way. I mean, that's maybe taking it a little too far the other way kind of thing. So.
And of course, the other thing to realize is that part of the Warframe is to be a powerful space ninja and
Absolutely.
kill hordes of these guys.
Absolutely.
So I guess as a bit of a response to that post is most of the enemies that we're going to create out there are going to be just the cannon fodder that you come across all the time, right? We want that sense of empowerment for the player.
Certainly.
We want the player to feel powerful and kill lots and lots of guys. But as we go forward, we do try to introduce enemies that do have more unique aspects to them. The prosecutors are one of those ones that we tried.
Yes.
They do parry bullets as you come at them,
They
so
do.
like shooting them from the front is not your best idea. And then we did give them elemental resistance, and
Right, depending on their elemental, they have their weakness.
yeah, and there's a lot of back and forth. And I mean, I remember like the first time we threw those out there, QA came back and said, "Hey, these guys are invulnerable. There's no ways you can kill them." And it's like, well, you can kill them if you don't just stand there and shoot them in the face.
Yeah, like you have to change your approach, but it's like at what? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a constant battle. If you don't have the right, if at one point if you didn't have the right element and you just shot them,
You couldn't even do damage.
you couldn't kill them at all.
Yeah.
At another point, then we got some of the elemental resistance worked out, and then we got the parrying working at that point,
Yes.
so that you had the right element, but you shot them from the front, so they wouldn't take any damage, and now you needed some other teammate to flank him and shoot him. But
Right.
when you require the teammates to help you out like that, it does penalize the single player.
It does, and I think I remember
guys
when we
out
were
there.
first looking at those things about like, well, he's only will ever be weak to one element. And we
Yeah.
were like, well, how on earth can a solo player? But then it was like you have your melee, your primary, your secondary,
Yeah.
and technically, if you're using an elemental Warframe, you've got your bases covered because you can have one
Yeah, you
on
could have
each.
that.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
true. Yeah, or
but-
even a sentinel you can.
Even exactly, you can mod him to do
So-
things. So I mean, there are ways, but
And now we got the specters as well. So
exactly, which I guess you guys have had a fun time with in terms of doing these.
yeah, that actually came out rather rapidly in the end, but it started off with Daryl coming and saying, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if?"
And then you're like, okay,
Which is always a dreaded phrase to hear.
wouldn't it be cool if you could do this now?
Yeah, well, it was in those Badlands, and we had initially just a bunch of kind of proxies that
Certainly.
are there, and then we thought, hey, we need to be able to connect more with the clans and show that you are defending this solar rail, or you are attacking the solar rail,
Right.
and have that kind of war between the clans and make sure that they play more of a role. So yeah, we came up with a couple of initial specters that had some basic behaviors and able to use some of the abilities of the Warframes.
Certainly.
And we just extended it from there and rolled it out everywhere now.
Yeah, and then I think that's coming, well, whenever 13.3 goes live on PlayStation 4, you will be getting those. So those are the
Nice.
deployable AI. People have made Pokemon jokes, I think, nonstop since those have gone out. But is it possible to have, I don't know what you're referring to, sorry, I'm just getting a few questions from chat about
Okay.
behaviors of them and behaving in different ways. So I will interpret that as, can you customize your specters to be offensive or defensive? Because I didn't see what they were referring
what the
to,
question-
but I'm not sure that's in the plans right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. At the moment, right, you can just customize the loadout of the Spectre. So that would
Yes.
definitely
Yeah.
play a role. Like
Well, certainly, if you choose Trinity over Rhino, you're getting
exactly.
yeah.
I'd love to be able to have the players kind of tweak a little bit more of the behavior stuff and make,
That'd be
hey,
pretty
I want to
cool.
make a more aggressive Spectre, I want to make a more
Right.
defensive Spectre, and
Now, when
adjust to the playstyle would be awesome.
Now, for those types of things, I'm just going to mention something that I overheard because I'm so excited I don't even care. Behaviors. The Kubro, in terms of the pet of the Tenno, that version of the Kubro that are coming, not yet, but they're coming. We've talked about them. Is there going to be that level of customization for them from your side of things?
Yes.
What are you guys working on for those?
Well, we have been working on some of the prototype behaviors for them.
Right.
I've done some, and one of the other programmers he's saying has taken over while I've shifted focus a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how much I can reveal on this. It's all very, very early on.
I guess just like the elevator pitch of what you're actually doing for this particular project.
So I think you want to be able to train your Kubro to do different attack forms, whether he's more guarding you and and train him into a more defensive role, or put him into a more offensive role where he's going out and hunting capture targets and holding them in place or something like that.
Right.
So we're still relatively early on, just kind of getting the prototype behaviors in place, but I think it'll be kind of exciting to be able to try and kind of teach your Kubro these tricks and these kind of skills, and then
It's going to be awesome.
yeah, see them in play. I think it'll be interesting. More
Badass.
customization to your pet, so that it'll be.
You can tell him to do things,
cool.
train him like a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Well,
God.
I mean, I didn't know we were going to be talking about the Kubro, but
You can
I mean,
talk a little bit.
there were, there are lots and lots of very cool animation that's going on in the department along with it. So I was doing some ground sniffing, tracking animations.
Tracking, yeah.
So
Oh my God.
Kubro can,
Oh my God.
yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah.
How likely is we'll see that Tenno powers cross over to Warframe? So that's not really an enemy question. That's more of a, can I use my Rhino Stomp on my Trinity? So sorry about that. We can't ask that here. And are we ever going to do an infested-based assassin unit? That is a question from chat. So you have your Stalker, you have your Harvester, you have your Grineer Grewstrike 3. What about an infested version of...
That's cool. We should.
We should.
We don't have any plans for it right now, but
Damn.
why not, right?
Yeah.
Why not? We don't...
Maybe they could be sent by like the infested Alad V or something like that.
Oh,
That could be pretty badass.
that would be pretty damn badass.
Yeah.
Infested
Yeah.
Stalker.
Infested Stalker, that
Yeah.
is like one of the, I think if you search the forums for that, you'll get...
Yeah. There's so many fantastic ideas that the community comes up
Yeah.
with, and I should say, like, and there have been a few boss threads as well, like ideas that
Right.
the community have come up with, and some fantastic ideas. I haven't necessarily, we haven't gone in there and
little
commented
shy.
a lot.
Oh.
A little shy. Don't want to get. But honestly, there are some really, really brilliant ideas going on in there. Yeah, there's some that's almost like just take it step by step and implement it, but there are a lot of other things, like with backstories and stuff like that we've got that we want to implement as well.
Yeah.
So with some of the bosses that we have coming up, so
Great.
yeah,
So stay
Can we
tuned.
Yes.
Can we talk about some of them?
I think maybe in
Like,
a little teaser of what's to come, because I don't really know.
Yeah.
Well, we do have some of that concept art, don't we, for for Neff?
Yeah, we have some,
Oh, yeah, go for it.
concepts.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, and a lot of this fight was actually inspired, I'd say half the fight maybe, was inspired by the community. There's an awesome community design for Durf, but
Durf
why don't you show Durf first?
Resurf the Durf.
Durf is awesome. He just cracks me up. So Durf is, I think he's the son of Neff.
A nephew, I think.
Nephew
Yeah,
is
nephew.
nephew.
Yeah.
That's fitting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he's going to come in during the fight and kind of give Neff a bit of a break and engage the Tenno, and so he has a little hoverboard that he'll be on.
Oh my God.
He's hilarious.
shield hoverboard
Yeah, I
thing,
love
it's
his
awesome,
helmet too.
Yeah.
So we'll
future
come up
or
with some
something.
cool attacks for him, and I mean this is a good example of one that we took inspiration from the community and wanted to get Durf in there
Oh
in
my
the
God.
fight. So
He's coming as a...
he's coming.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I
So
love the
he's,
platform
he's a
shoes.
sidekick.
That's,
and he's coming...
Yeah.
It's absurdly awesome. He's coming with Neff when his rework occurs.
Yep.
yeah.
Do you have anything about Neff yet?
Yep.
What you got?
Yeah. I think there he is.
There, yeah.
So Neff is cool. I don't want to get into the mechanics yet because we've basically have the design spec'd out, and so now he's in concepting stage, and so we still have to prototype and make sure it's all going to work and be fun.
Okay.
But he kind of rides around on this platform.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome, though.
and it's an awesome looking platform, and he's kind of, I think he gives the mag Warframe, so we've kind of taken a magnetic kind of approach and slant to a lot of his powers and what you're going to do with them in the fight.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to mix up every boss fight, so they all feel different, so you have to kind of engage with the boss in a different way than the previous boss.
So he's going to have this giant hover chair.
You have a giant hover chair,
yeah.
and you have to kind of, during the fight, you have to try and figure out how to defeat him. You're not going to be able to just point your gun at him and shoot him for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
So we really want to move away from that with bosses in general,
Right.
and create more interesting fights that revolve around players working together and figuring out weak points of the bosses. So Neff should be the next evolution of that after the J3.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right. So Corpus is getting some love because there's always the
Lots of
growing
love for the
school
Corpus.
of the Grineer are always getting these crazy, cool new things, but poor Corpus. But
Corpus.
looks like Infested and Corpus are
Infested and Corpus are next.
Yep.
awesome. One of our questions is about Sorry, I've lost my... Oh, here we go. Ronan Mortar asks, and this relates to your Neff comment, is can we give us more multi-staged boss encounters?
Yes.
So more of those are coming.
Love multi-stage boss
Yeah.
encounters. Yeah, we love breaking them up so you get a good sense of progression during the fight.
Sure.
It's not just about watching a health bar drain from 100% down to 0. We want it to really feel like, okay, I've made progression. I've gotten to the next stage. Now he's changed. Because that also makes it more of a spectacle where I fight one form for a bit, like Vahek in his drone form, and you think, okay, I made progress. Then bam, now he's in this huge robotic form.
Oh my god, the giant turkey with.
Yeah, I know, right? The turkey.
It's
that was awesome. And that was just a basic idea that we threw at Mickey, and he came back with the turkey. I think you talked to him about some kind of form, how you wanted to animate him, and then Mickey ran off and did that concept.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were just like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is awesome.
Yeah.
So the J3 is going to have stages, Neff has stages, and it's kind of something we try and work into most of our boss fights.
We have actually tried to work them into almost all the bosses that we've redone. I mean, even Cruel has two phases, right? And he was the first boss that we actually redid.
Yeah,
that we redid.
And actually, there's someone observed that Casardis mentioned, "Are you actually going to go back and do like Krill again now that the other boss reworks that have followed him have been so much more of a spectacle, as you said, that like."
We'd love to spend a little bit of time of kind of bringing him back up again. It's a matter of trying to see where we can fit that in.
Right. Yeah. I suppose there's more dire.
It'd be lower priority for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah.
He's got 2 phases. Vor has 3 phases. And part of the problem, I think, is not necessarily all these phases are very well defined.
Sure.
Right, like the Lephantis is very easy to see the different stages of that fight. Vahek is very easy to see the different phases, but even Sargus Ruck has multiple phases.
Right.
Because as you defeat more of his weak spots, he gets more and more aggressive and uses more powers. But we don't actually have a brief cutscene in between each phase, right? So
it just occurs.
We'll have to try and, I think, work something out where we can make that stage progression a lot more evident. But at the same time, we don't necessarily want the players to stand there for a minute watching a cutscene.
Right. Unless some of the players might want that. But,
maybe, yeah.
One question actually that's interesting about enemy diversity is just this is from Lardo Kelspin, who says, will there ever be bystanding mobs like the cargo MOA from the submitted enemies? Just for atmospheric additions, tidbits of lore, or looting. And he says directly with his looting comment, the loot loaders from Borderlands 2. So I mean, the Kubro are kind of the bystanders, and the Skates wildlife seem to have filled that, but what about...
It would be nice to get them into other tile sets too.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We don't have any specific plans, but I think that's a good idea for the cargo guy, because he would be hard to put everywhere, dragging a big loader behind him. Yeah. So making him a bystander is actually a really good idea.
Something you're interested in exploring should time present itself.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
That usually is the cut. I'm seeing a lot of questions in chat about something that I don't know if we've even talked about other than a few mentions in past live streams, and that is sentience. So that is a word we've said in relation to a faction, but I don't think that's anything.
We haven't begun working on enemy designs for them yet. I think they're still trying to figure out the narrative and the fiction and lore with them.
But they're coming.
And then we'll start figuring out their gameplay.
Seen a little bit of art for them that will be under wraps. And
I think it would be
top secret.
Top secret, yeah. Okay.
No, that's all. I don't know. I'm just joking. But yeah, so it's coming in chat like fast. So I just thought I'd at least acknowledge that.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is we've got the 3 main factions out there already, and they're pretty well defined. So if we do coming out with this another faction, we do want to make them feel, I think, significantly different gameplay-wise to anything we have already, and that's quite challenging because our current guys do cover the huge swath of capabilities.
Certainly.
Yeah, the Corpus running gunners, the Grenier cover shooters, and the infested melee. So finding a good mix between those or something all new would be awesome for this.
Yeah. And I think that would be ripe with opportunity. So excellent. Hold on, I can't see any. Are we going to get an Mark 1 Corpus gun? I think is what I just saw. They're coming in so fast. People are asking for Ash Prime, all these wonderful things, and now people are trying to win platinum. but what about boss encounters like raid bosses? Is a question that just came up in chat. So a raid style boss.
A raid style boss.
Yeah. I think
4-player only.
4-player only.
Cool. Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome to take nightmare bosses. I think.
We've talked about that before. It's just I think one of the challenges is figuring out the reward structure for it, and we don't want to just create tons of new content that has to get made for nightmare bosses. So it's finding a way to do it that is rewarding and meaningful for the player base without killing our content too.
Right.
I can understand that. Like I had mentioned to Tom earlier, the fact that like one of the biggest challenges that we have with boss design is balancing it for different level players.
Absolutely.
Right, and that's actually a huge question as well.
Yeah, and I can understand the desire to have like a nightmare boss, one that's like really, really, really hard. And obviously, I mean, players who have played hundreds of hours and they've built up these incredibly powerful weapons kind of thing, you know, they still want to have a challenge, and we still want to give them a challenge. I think the first time we tried sort of boss balancing, like for different levels, was when Vor first came out.
You scaled to
scaling the difficulty, and it didn't quite work at first.
Right.
But it also has to do with you know, balancing the matches, you know, making sure you get players who are different, like similar levels playing together, kind of thing.
Right. So matchmaking plays a huge part in that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other challenge we do have is that we do want to try and support everyone from single player guys to kind of pairs of ninjas going in to 4-player hardcore.
Like I'm 1,600 hours in mastery rank 16.
So it's a very tough problem to balance. And I mean, I was just reading a post on the forum today about saying, hey, Vahek is too hard because I can't solo him. And he is very, very tough to solo. And I think for Vahek, we wanted him to be very difficult, and we did balance him a little bit higher up on the difficulty scale. And still, we had guys coming out there and killing him within 2 weeks.
The YouTube video comes up that's 30 seconds long.
And you're like, oh god.
No. But hopefully that's an outlier, and most people find him difficult.
Your first encounter with him is amazing, and the scope of it and everything. I mean, you do eventually get used to how the best way to beat him. Look for his invulnerability moments and things.
Which is what we're hoping for, is that it takes a few tries, and you have to kind of figure out how he works before you actually can beat him. So
and you may have to change up your playstyle a little bit. Maybe
no melee only with him.
But the balancing is really hard, and usually what we do is we start with kind of making it work for the level range of the mission for solo, and I'll make sure that I can play it, and I find it challenging with some gear that I have, and I'll try a range of gears to see if it works. And then we actually look at the conclave ratings of all the players in a match and scale them up based on your conclave ratings. So not always an average of all the players, it's kind of looking at the min-max, and then we sort of scale up his health, the health of the boss and the shield of the boss, but we'll also change the damage resistance of the boss too. Because we get capped out on how much health we can give a boss. And people can do thousands of damage in a single shot. So we debuff the damage that they take with his armor. And try and then just do a lot of 4-player testing of, hey guys, bring in your most OP Soma, and you know, and your Rhino builds and whatever, and let's see.
You're gonna start some fires with that Soma OP, but that's okay.
We go into the forums and see what kind of weapons.
Maybe the next boss we do is just if Soma, then damage you.
Exactly.
Oh my god, he's Soma immune.
Maybe you can just vaporize the Soma when you start the fight.
I just saw a few questions in chat come out about Kayla de Tem, and they relate to a question here, which is from Rahu Stalker, which we did mention a few dev streams ago about female corpus. Do we have anything planned in terms of gender variety in our players we're fighting? Because right now it's either Scorpions, Kayla de Tem, and that's pretty much it for feminine enemies. But
I should.
There were a ton of concepts.
We must.
I mean, we'd love to see more. More different genders, multiple genders.
Yeah, we don't have any specifically designed right now.
Right.
But we talk to the character guys and
get some new enemies in there. Under the helmet you shoot off, it's a
exactly.
Instead of a man. Excellent. I guess we can get you to show off what you're working on, just in terms of coming.
Should we give away platinum first?
We should give away. Look at people complimenting your shirt. You're giving away platinum.
See, I'm a ninja.
All right, here we go. Who's it going to be?
Drum roll.
Drum roll. See, you're learning.
Here we go.
AI. He's learning. All right. Winner is Kenny1550, but Kenny with the 3. So K3NNY550.
Yay, Kenny.
Way to go. You won 1,000 platinum. Message our Twitch page with your in-game alias, and we will hook you up after the stream.
Cool.
Maybe during it if Megan's watching. Who knows? K3NNY550. Way to go. You did it. All right.
So, show and tell time?
All right.
Show and tell? Wait.
Awesome. Okay.
Show, not tell. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it completely silent. So you have the wireless mic today to...
Yay.
Awesome.
Okay, so these are just some of the basic AI that we've been prototyping, and I have some of the community ones in here too. I have some quick ideas. And generally what happens with these enemies is I'll kind of just rough out some basic ideas, just off the top of my head or looking at some of the community ideas, and get them kind of working by cobbling together assets that we already have in the game. And then I'll talk to Daniel and Paul and Scott and the concept guys, and we'll start fleshing out the actual form and function and everything like that, and kind of getting working. So I will.
What are you?
show
Oh,
you.
and you have Rhino. Do you have a Soma too? Just to, oh no.
No, I have just a low-powered Bratton here. So I'll start with, actually let's start on this side.
Is this Tom's dream room?
This is my dream room. My room of dreams.
The Tom
Right, so what do we have here?
So this is a really quick mock-up of one of the community ones, just testing out some functionality. So this is a MOA that kind of hides behind some shields
Oh my.
Nice.
and launches some Jackal missiles in the air.
Right, so here we're dealing with, again, like you said, reuse of assets, but just to get the actual concept working.
Exactly. So he has some Grineer shields on him.
Yeah, so we'll kind of start off like this with a very, very rough prototype using existing assets just to see is the gameplay going to be fun?
Right.
Is he going to work? What do we need to change?
Uh-oh.
And also what assets? Whoa! What happened?
What have you done?
Nice.
So keep in mind if you're
Breakdancing
watching.
MOA.
See, this could be a feature. Like you
Feature.
blow up in your face.
This is Tom's sandbox, and it's all work in progress. What you're seeing right now. Just don't be scared.
Jump attack.
People are saying we need this in the dojo. We need a little spawn room like this. We should
be
totally do
badass.
that.
We
People have been asking that forever.
That would be
Oh
great.
yeah, like the
Great.
gun test room or
Yes.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shooting range.
Chat just exploded with if
Yeah.
we need that.
But that was a good example. Like I just created a quick behavior where he hunkers down and shoots. But in reality, we'd want this guy to be able to move when he's doing that. So we'd probably create a special crouch posture and not make the shield attachments, but actually part of his body.
Sure.
But it kind of creates a starting point for us to discuss it with the character guys and with the AI guys and the animators.
Awesome. All right.
So here's a quick wrap up of the Juggernaut that was one of the community designs, just a quadruped. So he's kind of creating this poison rain that he'll fire at you.
no,
bubbles.
not the bubble ring. Oh no. Great to the health too. Yeah, that's gonna bypass your shields like no one's business.
God mode.
Don't, your health, you're gonna get proc.
Yeah, so that's just a quick wrap up of the Juggernaut. So obviously still rough. He doesn't have that immunity on his front yet.
Right.
But to just kind of showcase one of his main attacks, which is that really cool poison rain kind of mortar ability that he has.
Awesome. What else?
And
do
just
we
making a massive quadruped is kind of fun too. So this is going to be the new infested drone that's coming out. And this guy, his main thing is he'll bring crawlers into battle.
Oh.
And then drop them off.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
So it kind of because one of the issues with the crawlers is they don't move very fast. They're kind of easy to avoid. So
Yeah.
this should help bring them into proximity.
Right. This was actually one of the design submissions as well in the thing. He was.
Oh, there was, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
He flies
Yeah, there
in.
you go, yeah.
It was very close. He brings and drops guys in.
So once he's dropped off, then he kind of farts out poison clouds
Yes.
every once in a while.
It's
So
okay.
he'll charge past you and fart out a cloud. And
Amazing.
so just trying to make it a kind of a dangerous environment to be in, right? So you want to kind of get rid of him.
Totally.
I'd love to talk to the music guys and get right at the Valkyries playing as the and dropping off crawlers.
Some smell-o-vision as well would be great.
Yeah.
This, yeah.
Yeah. This is the first free-to-play game with smell-o-vision.
And so some of the other guys we're trying to do is, I think to that thread that we're talking about and Daniel was referencing earlier, we don't want to just create a bunch of new enemies that just shoot you in the face all the time and hide and cover. We want enemies that are going to interact with their teammates.
Sure.
And they're going to create a bit more of a challenge. So that's kind of where this MOA came from. So he launches these goo projectiles that create these hazards on the ground, which is I think similar to one of the community designs. And these, if you stand in it, slow you down, but you can shoot them to destroy them. Or you can jump over it if you're
Agile
inclined.
ninja, like Daniel is on his shirt today.
So the idea with this guy is he obviously by himself he's not much of a challenge, but imagine him with some rushers and quadrupeds and some ancients running after you. Suddenly you're slowed down and it's made the other AI a lot more dangerous to deal with.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nanite Mole. Okay, this guy's pretty badass. So he shoots these clouds of nanites around that kind of hover in the environment. And you can see this runner here
Oh wow.
has a cloud on him. And the nanites, when they're infested, make them armored. So now the cloud disappears, so he's no longer armored.
Cool.
Holy.
If I go close to one of these clouds, it will, or him, now I've got the cloud on me, it might be hard to see there.
I can see it, yep.
The idea eventually is that it would really make your screen obscured and hard to see, so you don't want to have one of these clouds on you. And it also reduces your armor while it's on you. So,
Oh my god.
and if I'm near other Tenno, it will actually go to them as well. So it'll kind of infect me and then get passed to other Tenno, making
Nice.
it really quite a dangerous support unit.
Everyone runs away from the infected guy.
Pretty much. Pretty much. So again, he's not that dangerous by himself, but at the back of a crowd, if he's buffing up other infested with his armor, it could make him quite dangerous.
Certainly.
And okay, this is one of my favorites. This is a new ancient type. I call him a pustule.
Ew.
And I think, do we show the concept for this guy yet? Maybe we could pop him up real quick.
Let's get a concept art first.
Concept art, yeah.
And so the idea with this guy is he's supposed to be really pussy and gross and diseased and sick.
You're making me
And so as you're shooting him, he's going to be spewing off this disgusting pustules that will then grow into spawn pods that will create more infested. So the idea being that he's a really dangerous guy to really fill with a lot of bullets. And you want to be quite careful when you're attacking him.
That makes me want to barf. I feel like a bit.
So as I shoot him,
please nerf.
he creates these spawn pods.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow. And then if you don't take out the spawn pods fast enough, he creates much more infested here.
Oh my god.
So again, he'll be quite dangerous by himself, and none of these guys are balanced yet, so I haven't looked at their hit points or their armor ratings or anything like that. So obviously he'll be a lot more tough to kill there than he is right now.
Sure. Yeah, this is Tom's dream world, remember? This is Tom's special.
Here I can be a badass.
Yeah. Tom is unstoppable in his...
This last guy is, we have a concept for this guy too, I think. The diseased guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this guy has, it's another ancient, and the idea is that he has these little crawly things sort of
so
crawling
cool.
around inside his abdomen. And when he gets close to you, he'll kind of grab his rib cage and tear it open. And these crawlers will kind of spew it onto the ground. And then they'll rush you and attack you. And so I have kind of a quick prototype of that here, where he'll spawn little mini quadrupeds, and they'll kind of rush around me. and then they'll get on top and they'll grab you.
Oh, I love it.
And let me get rid of him now.
Chihuahua
Now the more crawlers you have on you, the slower you move.
Sure. Oh my god.
But if I roll, they'll get knocked off. But if they get knocked off, they're not killed yet.
So they run after you.
So after you knock them off a few times, they'll die. But your best bet really is to use your powers or some, if you have really good aim, you can shoot them.
Right.
I got lucky that time.
Yeah. This is Tom's dream world where anything is possible.
Can your allies shoot them off of you?
I'm going to say yes. We'll try and get that working.
Yeah,
right
so
now, I don't think they can.
Allies should be able to shoot these off of you, is what was just asked off mic. Now, I mean, in chat, questions are going by right now. How is this going to work in Exterminate? How is this going to work in mission types where enemy count matters or all these things? And I mean, these are the challenges you guys face at the end of the day to actually make this all...
And well, that's something we're going to have to work out. Obviously, if these guys are creating a lot more enemies in the level, we're going to have to increase that amount of guys that you have to kill, right? If you initially had to kill 100 guys and maybe
like the actual value will go up by whatever was created.
Yeah, I think that's probably the easiest way to go, but we still have to decide that these are like still very early prototype stages, the pus and the disease guys. So we still have to work on that. For some guys, like I know the who's it, the Grenier Seekers, is it? They throw the little balls out. So those balls are actually little agents on their own as well, and they come scurrying through the level after you. And we make them just not count.
Right. So that I guess would be.
So I can see us doing that for the crawler guys.
Yeah, that might be the easiest way to go for there. But the spawn pods, we're going to have to do something different for that. So.
Oh, someone says infested Kubro maybe. So.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That'd be terrifyingly heartbreaking, but I suppose.
Eat your face off. So those were some new AI that we're working on, and
that's
we'll get
Tom's
more
dream
as we
world.
think of them.
Yay! Excellent. All right, we can summon you back to the couch now, and I'll do a platinum prize on the way. So someone's about to win 1,000 platinum. Oh my god! Who's it going to be? Oh, the drum roll. See, it's a word platinum comes. The winner is Drezjer, Drejzer, Drejzer. You won 1,000 platinum. Message our Twitch page with your in-game alias or PSN idea. Congratulations from the drumroll crew. The percussion, we should split our percussionists here. Woodwinds are the artists, and you guys can all be a different part of the band. So we got through the bulk of the questions we had. A lot of things you said spoke to those things, like what are your plans to introduce more difficult AI and variety? What you just showed there is asking that, but we also spoke to tweaking existing AI and what the value is in giving them all these complex AI behaviors when really one bolt or prime bullet to the head. And
I mean, well, we do want to still keep improving the AI.
Yes, this is not
we're not going to just suddenly stop trying to improve the AI. There are definitely some bugs which we do need to fix, which everyone knows about. And there's definitely improvements that we want to make. Some of that has to do with supporting a little bit more of the stealth gameplay a little better. We've got some plans for that.
So there is a question here actually that's been coming up that keeps saying, please speak to Stealth 2.0. So I don't know if that can factor into your workload?
A little bit. Like we've got some ideas. It's really hard to do like a hardcore stealth game in a big multiplayer action environment. So
go figure.
And that we're dealing with are the procedural levels, so we don't necessarily know how the level is going to be structured ahead of time. We did do some work. Hazel did some work in the
Rescue
2.0.
Yep.
And there she kind of set up the patrol routes in the jail cell blocks specifically. But it'd be great to have a more systemic approach that we can roll out everywhere.
Right.
So we'll slowly get there, because we have to do the new enemies that are coming out now, and then there's the community enemies, and there's the bosses, more Kubro stuff, as well. There's everything. Yeah.
We have a lot on the go right now.
Yeah.
Tons going on.
So we will get there. It'll start to roll out slowly. I think you'll probably see some of these changes kind of trickling out.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest challenges that we have with the stealth is really to make the stealth challenging enough that it's not just like the default win.
Sure. I think that was the ultimate debate about, does a stealth attack equal a stealth kill?
If you make it too easy to stealth around and kind of make their reaction time slower and not let them kind of alert everyone else too quickly, it makes the game very, very easy to just kind of pick out a couple of guys along the way. So that's something that we do need to look at as we start to implement more of these features.
Right.
The easier it is to stealth kill these guys, then we got to try and create a system that compensates for that to some degree.
Right.
And rewards you for doing
Certainly.
it.
And at the end of the day, that's kind of the big thing, is what am I getting out of doing all this?
Totally.
Like, sure, I'm the all-powerful Warframe, but I need to max my serration, so let's be serious. So I need my fusion cores. Did you have any assets that we wanted to go over? Is there anything we didn't include that you guys brought? I know you guys brought...
We could show the Devourer. We forgot to talk about that.
We haven't talked about that yet.
So part of the element of the J3 Golem fight that we're working on is that it's not just about fighting the Golem himself. We want to incorporate the environment and make it more about working with the environment and dealing with this infested environment while you're fighting him. So we came up with this Devourer, and then fictionally, these kind of grew out of the vents in the Corpus ship. And so when you're engaged with these guys, they'll kind of open up, and they have a number of different attacks, but one of them, my favorite, is this proboscis that comes out, and it can grab you and pull you in, and then if you don't kill it in time, your teammates don't kill it in time, it'll actually suck you up and spit you out of another mouth somewhere else in the level. So it's gonna really split players up and force you to focus on as a team on trying to stay together and helping your teammates that have been kind of taken out of the fight. So I think we even have a little video of this early mesh in action, which is kind of gross.
Oh my god, we can pull you in again.
So can you imagine him grabbing a Tenno and then starting to pull you in
back in again,
and then if you don't kill him in time, you're going to get spit out somewhere else.
That is awesome.
So this is going to be part of the Golem fight, just an extra little thing. Just to add a wrinkle to it, make it more about just shooting at the Golem. You have to also deal with the ship that's around you too.
Because will that occur in the boss arena itself, that you can be taken out of the boss arena? Oh.
Yeah, it's something we're going to experiment with. I don't know if it'll work or not, but it's not fun, we won't do it. But the idea is that, like you can enter and leave the boss arena whenever you want.
Right.
So if one of your teammates gets sucked out, you might have to go out and help him get back in.
Chat's exploding with, oh my god, love that. Oh my god.
So we'll see.
Mother of God, all caps. So Nightbot will probably get that person, but damn. Stabby.
It's so gross.
They're also quite disgusted by what's going on there. I think this is what you guys were talking about yesterday when I was...
This is it,
All right, that's the one. All right, so we've done our 3 platinum prizes. Angelito Cruz 57, Kenny with the 3, 550, and Dresger. You've all won 1,000 platinum. We've gone through a ton of good questions and answers. We'll see if we can get a few more from chat, just because we've been chatting so patiently, and all these questions. Devour transport is what they're saying. You can speedrun levels with that. I'm glad they're bringing more infested in challenges, so there's some things. Will any real ore can be seen? So, not the corrupted, I guess, the actual. We have our Cyandanas that say, warned by Orkin, elite. I guess that's more of a character question, though.
I haven't been working on any Orkin designs, at least, so I don't know.
I guess, is a boss going back to Earth now that Bayhek is located behind his triangulators?
I think at some point we do want every planet to have kind of a culmination, a boss mission.
Sure.
We don't have any plans right now, but I think it's safe to say there'll be a boss back on Earth at some point.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it. I guess of what you spoke of here today, one question is what if this is coming in update 14, quote unquote. So what's like of everything we've shown, our golem and our MOAs and drones that do these crazy things. What's the first on the menu? I guess.
I think the drone and one of the MOAs are the first two on the menu.
Okay.
Yep.
So they can expect those within the soonest of the soons.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Then they say, they want boss trophies for their ships, but that's not exactly you guys.
cool.
But I'm sure you'd love to see your
That'd be
work
great.
in someone's dojo. Sciendanas, you guys can't answer that. Are we getting more lore from these bosses? I mean, you can speak to the fact that.
Yeah, I think so. I think Ryan does all the writing for us, and he always does such a great job fictionalizing them and giving them personalities. So every new boss, he loves writing all the dialogue for them and the transmissions.
Getting greedy milk and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
those are the best.
Yeah.
Something you guys. Now they're coming real fast. I feel like they just realized I'm asking for questions now. The latency issue. All right. Will you make Deep Space Nine a docking station like Deep Space Nine for Tenno? That's more of a MMO style question about the hubs. So you can't answer that. Yeah. Can we mod Kubros? That kind of goes into your AI behavior.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so. We'll have to see exactly how customizable we can make them. But,
sure.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Enemy Kubros with Grineer. We just talked about that. A Grineer type infested. I guess the Chargers right now are.
Yeah, right now I think the Charger is mostly Grineer Trooper that's like folded in on itself.
Yeah, totally.
I think most of the current infested, if you look at them closely, they're actually. Well,
there's some crewmen.
Yeah, they're
a lot of
both,
crew.
But the Charger is actually. If you look at the model closely, it's a Grineer guy who's
I think his head is like hanging down underneath.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There you go. What else do we have here? Oh my goodness. So will there be more boss combinations? So you guys do have the Vor Krill on Phobos as a boss. That it came out the door swinging, basically. That kind of happened. And I mean,
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think they have Trinity right now. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, community. You can give me a stern
that'd be a good way to get a boss on Earth pretty quick.
To do a double boss there?
A double boss, get existing bosses and mash them together. And
it goes to kind of what we were saying, where we do try and make the AI in a kind of transportable place that we can just drop them in wherever we want. It doesn't always work.
No.
For the boss fights, it's always a battle because we want to have this giant, big, epic moment, which is really hard to just drop in anywhere. So we have to kind of balance those out. But I think. We'll see what we can do. I think we could probably throw together a couple of bosses, or maybe have a challenge with several bosses in a single level or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like a boss gauntlet? Go from one to the other. Give me this. This is the boss exterminator. You can't just say these things now. We're gonna latch on to that and demand it.
Coming soon. Have a weekend,
Sorry, you're here now. All right. I guess they're asking if the Lotus is going to get some kind of AI. That's not super enemy. I guess I hope I'm not an enemy. I don't know. You tell me. You guys are the enemy of plastic.
Well, I mean, I've kind of touched a little bit on, and I did mention it in one of my design council posts, well, my only design council
Yes, the Daniel B.
ages ago, where I do want to make more of those. But there are a couple of different layers to the AI system that we have going on. There's not just the enemy AI and the boss AI. We have this kind of director AI that's kind of sitting on top, watching the game progress, the mission progress, and trying to react to the players and trying to keep it interesting and challenging. So there is something that we could potentially do there for the Lotus.
Whoa, now.
Maybe.
Whoa, now. Well, actually, this is something, I guess, just in terms of gameplay, they were talking about making that. I don't know if it speaks to your director AI, but make it take into account what mastery rank the players are and have the Lotus say things dependent on who is in the game. So you wouldn't get the same old line if you're a new player, but if you've been playing 1,600 hours, she'll say more.
Yeah, it'd be great to get more content in there, more lines in different situations, because you don't want to hear the same couple of phrases over and over again. And because we do want players to keep playing for a long time, when you kind of 1,600 hours in.
Mute the Lotus. Oh God, that's okay. I forgive you. It's fine.
It's the Grineer.
You do a great Lotus, Daniel. But all right, we've gone for an hour and 10 minutes now. You guys have done a great job.
Yeah, awesome.
I know, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming. We have a 24-hour catalyst coming on both platforms in the alerts, a gift of the Lotus, sometime after the stream.
Cool. Oh shit, I gotta go play.
Yeah, you gotta go get that. Put it in your Soma, OP.
Go get it.
And yeah, that will wrap up Devstream number 30, Enemies of the Tenno. We talked about bosses, what's coming, faction-wise. We looked into Tom's dream box and learned some magical things about the enemies in Warframe. So I don't know if you guys have any closing remarks.
Oh, no, we have a ton of AI on the go right now. We have J3, Neph, Till bosses in the works, and tons of new AI, so lots to come.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to change the game quite a bit, so, you know, keep
we're
the players,
constantly adding to the AI enemies and variety that's in there, and we're constantly trying to improve the AI as we go.
It's non-stop
It's
action.
just, there's so many balls in the air that we have to juggle that...
So many rollers.
So many rollers, yeah.
You were working
All
on
those
the giant
little
roller
infested
boss, right? The one that is 500 feet wide and stun locks
the
everyone.
big hamster wheel.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Awesome, right?
The Kubro inside?
Kubro inside.
No, don't even try. Follow.
I will do that.
Yes.
You will do that?
Yeah.
Make it a mini game. We have flappies ever. We need roller Kubro.
We can chase you through the level.
Yes.
Indiana Jones style.
Kubro do chase rollers, by the way. Just for the record. They do. I saw it.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for watching, everyone from home. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See ya. Thanks, everyone.